Please with me. Wow, finally, the network is working now. I've been battling with my network for a few minutes ago. So if you can hear me or you can see me, can you please leave me a hi and tell me the location from which you're watching me? My name is Shakira Tulukun, popularly called Dole Shakaro. So thank you for joining me. If you can hear me, please leave me a hi and the location of where you are watching me from. I'm speaking it with you all the way from Ibadan, Nigeria. So our topic today is one of the topics that I love to talk about. How can we help our children sustain their resilience? And like we all know, resilience is an innate trait or skill in children. We are all born resilient. Although some people believe that resilience is something that we can learn, that it's either you have it or you don't have it. But that's not true. We are all born resilient. And one of the things that prove to that fact is that as a child, when you fall down, when children are playing or when they fall down, automatically they stand up without seeking the approval of other people or seeking the validation of people around them. They stand up, they fall. Thank you very much for joining me, ma'am. Taufikat Olawale Okearogun State. Thank you for joining me, ma'am. I really appreciate your presence. So one of the things that we should understand is that we are all born resilient. It is the environment, it is what we are exposed to, what people say about us, our experience, maybe failure, disappointment, frustrations, trauma, and other negative traits that taint that skill, that trait in every one of us. So for our children, how can we help them sustain that their resilience, the natural state of ability to bounce back is in the way we deal with them. So before we start, let me just start by defining the word resilience. Resilience simply means the ability to bounce back from a situation, trauma, suffering, or any other thing, challenges that we might be going through. In the case of a child, we understand that children, sometimes we assume that children are not going through challenges, but it's not true. Children have their own struggles too. They have struggles of reading, they may have struggles of confidence, they may have struggles of friendship struggles, like things that we don't see as important. So you are crying because your friend refused to play with you. But to your child, it is important to your child because your child have seen that person as an extension of their own relationship or as an extension of who they believe in. So we might see those things as little things, but how can we help our children to come back to their initial state of resilience rather? So one of the things we have to, before I further to talk about the step or the things we can do to sustain the resilience of our children, I would like to talk about the what do I call it? I call it the 4 or 5 makeup of part of resilience, that is the things that make us hold bounce back when we face challenges. One of them is purpose. I'm trying to say this so that as parents we can always benefit from it too. Although this topic is on how we can help our children, but I believe that if as parents we ourselves do not understand how we can model that in our own practical life, then it will be difficult for us to teach to our children. So the first thing for us to understand is that as a person, if you understand your purpose or the reason why you are doing a thing or the reason why you are in this life, any challenges you are going through, you are going to you are at a better chance at overcoming that challenges compared to somebody that does not even understand his or her purpose in this world. But the more you understand your purpose, why you are here or why you are doing a task, when challenges come, you are able to withstand those hard times. Another thing is self-awareness. One of the things I used to say, that I used to query myself about, is that why didn't we have to learn these important things as a child while growing up? Instead of going to school and teaching us mathematics, English, and the likes, I'm not saying those things are bad. But the truth is, if they have taught us the important soft skills that we are going to need to navigate the world, it will have been better for us. Many of us wouldn't have been lost trying to live life to please other people or to please our parents or to live life just to fit in. We would have been contented with who we are while trying to become better without minding what other people think about us. So it is important that as parents we pay attention to these things. We understand that it is these 5 items I'm going to list that makes us bounce back when challenges come knocking at our door. And believe me, challenges will always come. Challenges will always come. So the first one I mentioned is purpose, understanding the purpose with which you are doing something, or the purpose of your existence. When challenges come, you're able to bounce back and understand that this thing is not going to be forever. And second I mentioned is that self-awareness. That is when you understand yourself, you understand the way you behave, you understand the things that are limiting you, the things that are not making you do the things that you're supposed to do, even though you know you're supposed to do them. These are things that will assist you to bounce back. Self-awareness is understanding that your existence is for a purpose. So the more you understand that when challenges come, maybe you are trying to become something, you're trying to work at a task, you're trying to build a business, and you face challenges, you understand yourself better. You understand the things that you are doing to self-sabotage yourself. So you are better at assisting yourself to work on your weaknesses. And it is said that he who knows himself knows his Lord. The extent to which you know yourself is the extent to which you can know your creator. And the extent to which you know yourself is the extent to which you can understand other people. If you have not gotten to that stage of understanding your own weakness, your strengths, and your ish, then it means you are going to continue to garbage in and garbage out. You're going to continue to blame situation, blame circumstance for everything that is happening to you, but yourself. So self-awareness is important, it's key in whatever we are doing, be it in parenting, be it in education, in whatever we are doing. It is important that we try to understand ourselves. Self-awareness, what are the things that are limiting you? What are the things that make you yell at your child, even though you don't like yelling at your child? What are the things that make you beat your child, even though you know that, I've tried this sometimes ago and I did not beat my children and it worked out though. But because people are saying, people that don't beat their children, they are going to raise irresponsible children. Then you are calling, you believe in their sayings, you are influenced by their sayings, and you bounce back to beating your child. So this is what self-awareness does for you. The more you understand yourself, the more you're able to stand by your values, regardless of what people are saying. And that thing is self-care. Yeah, self-care is important. I'm not saying self-care to the detriment of you doing things that is not in aligned with what you are supposed to do. I'm not saying self-care to the extreme. Everything should be in balance. You must find a middle course in whatever you're doing. There must be a middle course. Don't go to the extreme left and that to the extreme right. So self-care is important. Understand that you are human. You have your peak. You have where you can do things to. You can't go beyond your elasticity. The moment you stretch yourself beyond the things you can do, you might be jeopardizing yourself. So self-care is important in the right dose. And the fourth one, I've mentioned three. I mentioned purpose, I mentioned self-awareness, I also mentioned self-care, and now I'm going to be mentioning mindfulness. Yes, mindfulness is very important. And mindfulness is just your ability to remain, to stay in the moment. Your ability to understand that we are here now. The past is gone. There's nothing you can do about the past. Regardless of what you have been through as a parent, regardless of your own upbringing, it is gone. But can you become better? Can you do better than your parents? Of course, you can do better by focusing on the present and also understanding that the future is not in your hands. The future is ephemeral. You can't touch it. You can't. You are just imagining it. You can't see it. We are only hoping that we are going to get to the future. So the only important moment is now. The only important moment is now, and the extent to which you are mindful of the things you do, the extent to which you can do the right thing. Let me put it that way. So mindfulness is a skill that can be learnt. It just simply means that you understand that this is the present moment. You are living in the moment with consciousness. Because there's another thing that people just say, let me just live in the moment. As when life just comes to you, just act the way life presents itself to you. Just live without you live barely by surviving instead of thriving despite daily challenges. So mindfulness is a skill that you can learn by understanding that the past is gone, the future is not certain. The only moment that is real is this moment. And what you do in this moment is going to go a long way to shape the future that you desire. Parents at times we are driven by fear and anxiety that when we see our children doing a particular behavior, exhibiting a particular behavior, we are afraid that hey, this child is just failing exam. What will be the future? What holds the future of just such child? So that fear at times will not make us come to our children to assist them to overcome their challenges. We are coming from a place of fear. You are not thinking. When you are coming from a place of anger or resentment, you are not thinking because the part of your brain that is supposed to be doing that for you is shut down. So it is important that you are mindful of the present moment. Don't let the fear of the future or the fear of the unknown stop you from doing the right thing now. And the last one is what I call relationship, a positive one at that. Relationship. We cannot strive without relationship. We can't grow. We can't grow meaningfully without a relationship. You can't say you just want to do your things alone. No, I don't want family. I'm self-sufficient. No, nobody's self-sufficient. We must connect. That's why we are here. Because I'm here for you, you are here for me. Together we can make a world a better place. So you must understand that positive relationship is key to being resilient. Positive relationship, relationship with spouse, relationship with children, relationship with family, with friends is key, and the ability to maintain a healthy relationship with other people determine your level of resilience, because there are times that you're going to be down. You will need people to work with you. You need people to encourage you. You need people to hold you, that they believe in you, that they trust you, that they believe you can make it. So these things are important, and we must understand that these five things I've mentioned, they are the things that make us resilient. So how can we help our children become more resilient? How can we help them sustain their resilience? Because like I said earlier on, we are naturally born resilient. I shared one in my upcoming book, Connect to Influence. I shared that there was a particular day that my son felt I left them to go and play with our neighbors' grandchildren rather. And while they were playing, I was inside. It was on a Friday. He fell down. He fell down for like 6 times. I didn't know. I knew the second day while I was bathing for him, and he was complaining that this place is paining me. I should not touch it. I should not beat it. I should wash it gently. So when I got to know that he fell down, I was like, why didn't you inform me? He said he just fell down. It's just skin killing and it's just small. And I was like, but you should still tell me. So that experience proves to me that children naturally, when they fall, when they make mistakes, when they fumble or tumble, they are willing to forge ahead. They don't stay there looking for sympathy or looking for seeking people's approval or validation before they move ahead, before they move on. It is until maybe an adult that is present just yell or scream or pay unnecessary attention to the child that the child begins to see that falling is not a good thing or is not a part of life. Falling, failing, making mistake, making a mess is part of the process of being resilient. In fact, it's part of being resilient. But being resilient doesn't mean that you will not make mistake. It doesn't mean that you're not going to fall. It doesn't mean that you're not going to fumble. But it means that the moment you fumble, you are mindful enough to stand up back and forge ahead. So we must be able to understand that. We must understand that being resilient is not about not making mistakes. It's about what? Making mistake and standing up back. And that is the natural thing that we have been born, that is in every one of us. We all are born resilient. It is the society, the environment, our experience that taint that belief or that trait in us about how resilient we are. Of course, we all have our degree of resilience varies depending on our temperament, our personality, our upbringing. These are the things that affect how much resilience we can be. That is why I'm emphasizing the fact that parents should own their own position. They should own back their position of the parents by parenting through influence, by parenting through influence, by modeling to their children through their actions and words that life will happen to us and we can always bounce back. So the first thing we have to do to help our children sustain their resilience is to build positive relationship with them. Yes, an emotional one at that. We should aim to build a positive relationship with our children. We should understand that nothing will work when we don't have a healthy relationship with our children. We should start from an early age with them. Don't say your child is too small. What is this child going to learn? What is there now? They are too small. Start now. Don't wait until your child is 10, your child is 7 before you start. Don't be of those people who believe that no, it's until your child is at a certain age before you can start teaching the values that you believe in. The earlier you start, the better for you. The earlier you start, the lesser you have reasons to complain or to correct their future. I think I read a quote, I read a word, I think it wasn't on social media last yesterday or the day before yesterday, that may we not be the reasons why our children will seek therapy in their future as an adult. And that's the truth. Many parents are unknowingly building a future for their children that are going to need that's going to need a repair in the future. Like I said in my book, Connect to Influence, that one of the best gifts you can give to our children is a future that needs no emotional and spiritual repair. A future that they do not need to repair their emotional life or their spiritual life, because this is pertinent to who we are as an individual. It is our emotional and spiritual life is interrelated, and it is pertinent to our essence, to who we are. So understand that you must build a connection, an emotional connection with your child that transcend the fact that I'm just a parent. You must understand that for you to do that, focus on everyday opportunity rather than focusing on the negative, because everything that we focus on grows. Focus on the positive and assist your children to become better. So the second point on how to help your children become more sustain their resilience or become more resilient is for you to encourage healthy risk. The truth is that many of us don't like to make mistakes. As humans generally, we don't like to make mistakes. We want to just do things and succeed at once. But the truth is we must encourage our children to make healthy mistakes. And the words we say when our children make mistakes is as important as what we do when they pass or when they succeed at a task. What we say when they make mistakes must is as important as what we do or say when they pass or succeed at a particular task. So when your child is trying at something, don't be that parent that use this encouraging words to bring them down. Let them take healthy risk. There was a time that my son was saying that he want to start cooking. My first son when he was around, I think, 8 going to 9. My own fear, I was coming from a place of fear. Of course, we are all afraid. I was like, no, you start cooking. I'll start thinking of possible accident that might happen in the kitchen. Now start cooking. When you now start cooking, maybe perhaps there's an accident. You now pour salt on your body. What will people say about me? That if it's a child, we should allow him to do that. But I had to remember myself that no, it's about empowering this child. As long as the child is showing interest that he wants to start cooking, then I should encourage him through my words and action by teaching him the skills that will help him navigate in the kitchen successfully. And I started teaching him, that was around 8 when he was 8 years old. And now he can cook because he showed interest. Instead of allowing my fear to to discourage him, instead of allowing my fear to come in the way of him doing what he desires to do, I'm giving him an avenue to work on himself, to learn these skills. So we must encourage healthy risk taking habits. Thank you very much, ma. I understand that perhaps you're busy. Of course, you can always catch a replay, but thank you for joining me still. So thank you, Mrs. Mulikat and Ilasaba, for joining me as always, as usual. So encourage your children making healthy risk. They might want to say they want to do things that you think they're not capable of doing. Don't don't belittle them with your words. Just give them encouragement. Of course you can do it. Of course you can try out. Then my son this morning too was trying to he had his crayon broken, and he took the top gum to gum it to sell it. He said, "Oh, I want to gum it to my mommy." I said, he first asked me, can I can top gum this crayon? And I was like, no. He said, yes, it can. I said, no. He said, yes, it can. And I said, okay, try it out. And he tried it, and when he found out that it was not going to work, then he left it. These are ways we can encourage healthy risk. That's an example of a child of a child of just 4, of course. For a child of 15, 16, they might tell you that they want to try new thing. Mommy, I want to learn swimming. I want to go and swim. If you're a parent that have never swum or you had a bad experience of swimming as a child, that fear, that experience will come back as a flashback from your memory, and that will trigger an emotion in you. So automatically you might want to say, no, don't do that. You can't swim. Oh, no, 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 you can't swim. Instead of encouraging your child to take healthy risk, you are going to be coming in their way of growth. So the third thing you can do to help your children sustain their resilience is to don't try to always fix their problem for them. Yes, regardless of your child's age, don't always be in their face, helping them every time. A child is trying to wear a cloth, trying to wear his clothes, and is not getting it, and you're already there helping the child. Let them try hard until they seek your help. Let me please wait for me. And even at times when they tell you to help them do it, you encourage them to do it themselves first. A child is trying at an assignment and is not yet getting it and say, Mommy, help me. You can encourage them by saying, go and try it again, try harder, try again and again until you succeed, like my son will say. These are words that I use for my son in the home, that you try again and again until you succeed. And when as a parent too, I'm frustrated at something I'm doing and I'm not getting it. Like there was, I think it was on Sunday last week or Monday, I was trying to create an e-flyer for my one of my program, one of my courses, and I have been quitting and I was not getting the desired results. And I was like, oh, what is the meaning of this now? I'm tired of doing this. And my son was saying, Mommy, you try again and again until you succeed. These are ways that when we invest in our children with positive words, they automatically will use those words on us. They automatically will practice those things when we need them. That's the benefit of parenting intentionally. That's the benefit of parenting with purpose. When you do that, when you are down as a parent, because you are always going to be down, because you are human, your children will do the same thing to you. They will encourage you to with their words. So don't be there to always fix their problem. Let them try. Don't let your fear come in the way. A child is failing an exam and you're the one that saying, I will change that school for that child though. I will have to pay for external WAEC for the child to pass. I don't want them to go. The one that me I have done is enough. Me, I had to struggle before I pass the exam. My child must not struggle the same way I struggled. Please, let's calm down as parents. Let's understand that our children are not ours. They are just gifted to us. And the least we can do is to model to them good values. The least we can do is to model to them the ability to believe in their own intuition and the ability to believe in their own self, that they are capable of doing what they put their mind to do by working hard for it and leaving the rest to the creator, to their creator. So don't be there to always fix your child problem. They bullied your child in school and you're already there fighting the child, fighting with the parents, with the teachers, saying, no, why will your child bully my child? You have to let a child look inwardly on ways with which they can fight for themselves. I'm not saying you should encourage bullying, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should encourage your child going through emotional trauma. No, I'm not saying that. I'm also saying that you should equip your child with the skills to be able to stand up for themselves and others. And the moment our children cannot even stand up for themselves or what they believe in, how do you expect them to stand up for others? So they bully your child in school. Don't be there always trying to rescue your child. A teacher beats your child. Don't be there always trying to rescue your child. A teacher gave an assignment to your child and the assignment seems to be too much. Don't be there in your child's presence condemning the teacher. Like my son came back home, I think was it not yesterday, the day before yesterday, he was telling me that the assignment that my uncle gave me is too much, oh, and he asked us to memorize 20 verses of the Quran before we come back to school tomorrow. And I was like, wow, that's much. Wow. The way he was saying it, he wants me to encourage him, he wants me to pity him. I was like, wow, that's why you are in school, of course. I understand that 20 is quite much. But what about you doing the right thing now by taking efforts, taking this in bits by bits, in 5 and memorizing them and see how far you can go instead of nagging and complaining here? And he said, oh, that's true, mommy. Will you assist me with the revision? And I said, yes. So your children will come to you with a lot of tactics. They want you to pity them. They want you to indulge them. Let me use that word. But you must be smart enough as a parent to know that no, you need to go through this training. It's not about making you go through our difficulties. It's about the things that you need to survive in life. You can't survive in life without following rules, without obeying, without doing the right thing at the right time. So he went ahead and he memorized that verse that day. Imagine if I had said, that's too much, and that's your own cup of tea. It could be something, it could not be a verse of the Quran, it could be something else that they asked them to do in school. But your children is feeling reluctant to do it. Find a way to encourage them. Don't be there to fix their problem all of the time. And the last point is teach problem solving skills to your children. One of the things that we can do to our children is to assist them on how to solve their problem. And we cannot do this if we ourselves do not know how to solve daily puzzles that we have with our children. We don't know how to manage situation, manage crisis with your child. Your child is acting rude to you, and you're already angry, you're throwing tantrum, you're yelling, you're complaining. Instead of you looking strategically of how you can teach values to your child, that I because I spoke to you and you went out and barged the door, that's unacceptable behavior. You might not say it immediately, but you find an avenue to make sure that you discuss about that attitude. That no, that's a good behavior. It could be doing maybe when you are watching a movie, you might chip it in. Could be doing dinner or lunch time when you are eating as a family. Excuse me, please, you are disturbing my class. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Could be doing the dinner when you are having your dinner that you talk about that's not unacceptable. Please, when else you do that, there will be a consequence for that behavior. So I hope with this few point of mine, you have been able to learn one or two ways in which you can sustain resilience in your child. Because resilience is an inborn skill. It is what we see when our children fail, what we see when they make mistakes. It is what we see when life happens to us that stains our ability to believe in our ability to bounce back. So it is important that we pay attention to the things we say to our children when they make mistakes, when they fail. Another example that I would like to give was when my son came. I think they had their own midterm break last week. So I think most schools in Lagos they're having their own now this week, Thursday and Friday. But my son they had their own on Thursday and Friday. And on Tuesday, I think he came home to me and told me that he told me the goals I have for his test. He said he wants to have 10 in this, he wants to have this in. I said that's good. You can have any score you want as long as you put effort and you put in the right, you pray too. So I told him that, and he went to school. He had his test, and he came back the day. I told him, "Mommy, I have 10 in this. I had 8 in this. I had 9 in this." And I said, "Wow, that's good. If you're happy with the process, if you enjoy the process, then it's worthwhile." And the second day, he came to me that he had 4 in his maths. In his history so far, since he has started primary school, he has never had a low score in maths like that before. Thank you very much, ma. I really appreciate that. He has never had a low score as low as 4 in his maths. The least score he has ever had in maths, be it a test, is maybe 7 or 8. But this time he came to me that he had 4, and he was down. I was like, wow, you had 4. What do you think happened that made you have had that 4? And he said it was because I was not paying attention enough. And I know that work. Oh, I know that question. Oh, because I was not paying attention. And they said, you see that, since you know that's the problem, then you have to work on it. I did not yell, I did not complain, I did not say, báwo ló máa ṣe ní 4? Why would you have 4? Olódo ní ẹ, kìnìkan kìnìkan. So it's important that we are mindful of what we see when our children feel. And the second day, I had to write a note to him because I know he's having tests the second day on Wednesday. I had to write a note to him again that don't feel that I believe in your ability. Go ahead and make yourself proud. That's it. So life, your child failing a test, having 0 in a test doesn't mean that you're going to fail in life. It doesn't mean that they're going to fail in their future. It's just an indication that something went wrong. And the next step is how can we solve what went wrong? It's not by complaining, it's not by naming the child, labeling the child, or shaming the child. That will not change the score. So it's important that as parents we pay attention to what we say when our children make mistakes, when they fail at a task, when they need our help, or when other people bully them. Because this is one of the things I think that many parents make mistakes too doing. So I hope that you have found this session worthwhile. I appreciate your presence and I do not take it for granted. I don't know if you have a question, you can drop them. I'll answer them at my convenient time or as soon as I see them. I really appreciate your presence. Thank you for joining me as usual, Mrs. Saba. I really appreciate your presence. So do we have a lovely weekend? It's almost weekend now, and a lovely midterm break. Remember, be more than a parent, be purposeful. Bye.